Right people, we are days away from the October event, the leaks keep on coming, and so let's break down the latest rumors on what to expect. Beginning with Apple guru Mr. Mark Gurman, he decides to confuse everyone and contradicts himself. You see, just a few days ago, Gurman was suggesting the 13-inch base MacBook Pro would be updated because current SKUs were facing major delays, so that usually points towards a replacement coming soon. However, Gurman now backtracks on this and says, "Nah, forget what I said, it's not coming, only the higher end models are being updated." And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Now, to be fair, it's not a massive bummer Apple's not releasing this. There's probably one touch bar diehard in the corner over there crying about this, but no one else cares about this machine. A lot of us can agree on the fact this Mac used to make sense when the Intel Airs was severely underpowered and could only launch one Safari tab at a time, but now with M series chipsets, these bad boys chew through 4K content and we have incredibly powerful MacBook Airs even when they're fanless. So why offer a Pro variant when the Air already is kind of a Pro machine? And I know there's gonna be people in the comments saying two things. Number one, hey, there will be dumb Apple sheep buying this because it says Pro. And that is a fair point, I can't lie, but just for lineup consistency alone, I think they should still get rid of this. And number two, businesses are gonna bulk buy this because it's the cheapest MacBook Pro. And to that I say, I think that's gonna change. Now that we have a 15-inch MacBook Air, I think many companies would rather give their employees something that's larger. It's also the same price as a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and so yes, we really don't need this machine. This Mac would make a lot more sense if at least it shared a similar design to the current MacBooks. Imagine if this was based on the 14-inch, got rid of mini LED, swapped M3 Pro for the M3, but of course kept the additional ports and the better thermals, and that would be a much more enticing machine, and I could even see myself getting that. But this machine using a design from 2016 makes it stick out like a sore thumb, especially with its chunky bezels and the touch bar, which is a relic of the past. Unfortunately, Gurman does say there's still evidence of this machine getting the M3 upgrade soon. Its codename is J504 and there's not going to be any other changes apart from the new chip. So here's hoping Apple just conveniently forgets to release this. Moving on, let's delve into a report from Akatakara. Before all this news regarding an Apple event broke out, they told us the iMac could be updated with the M2 and also the M2 Pro chipset. And well, now that we're somewhat sure M3 is going to debut at this event, does that mean we could see M3 Pro as well in this 24-inch iMac? Well, no one has specified this yet, but if I were to theorize, I could see this happening. Mark Gurman has told us a larger iMac is still in the development phase years later. How long does it take Apple to make an iMac bigger? But anyways, because there's such a huge delay, I think it makes sense to offer a slightly powerful chipset inside for those who want the all-in-one experience, but the base level M3 isn't cutting it for their kind of usage. And I know people are going to point out, what about the thermals, bro? This bad boy isn't very thick, it's about as thin as an iPhone, so how will it accommodate a pro level SoC? Well, remember that the chin houses the chipset inside. There are two fans on the higher end SKUs right now, and so I'm sure Apple could give us a redesigned internal design and beef up the thermals to accommodate the M3 Pro. However, I know some are still going to argue this iMac is the equivalent of a MacBook Air, so it should only have the base level M3, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but considering the iMac Pro might not be released till 2025 at the earliest, I don't think it's fair for that demographic to not have an alternative option till that releases. I know you can buy the Mac Mini or the Mac Studio instead, but that's not really the same thing as an all-in-one experience, and so I think offering M3 Pro in this iMac's perfectly fine. It's not like the 21.5-inch iMac back in the day only had base level chips. You could upgrade them to include higher end CPUs and GPUs, So I think it could happen. Plus, some of you guys might remember this, but we did see leaked images of new colorful USB-C cables that we thought would come to iPhone 15, but hey, that might have been for the iMac all along. And well, there's a black cable here, which means we could see an all black iMac with black bezels made for the pros. And so to accompany that with an M3 Pro inside would be very nice. Now moving on to when you'll be able to throw money at Timothy for these new shiny Macs, Mac Rumors has got in touch with a source and they believe these new models are going to launch on the 8th of November, which seems pretty plausible to me. I know Apple usually launches new products on Fridays, but as Mac Rumors mentions in the article with the October 2018 event, when they introduced brand new iPad Pros, those launched 8 days after the event, so Apple's doing a similar thing here with the Macs. Now I'm assuming they will be available to buy immediately after the event, like most Macs are, but they won't ship to you guys till the 8th of November. Now some of you may be wondering, why is the event happening at such an awkward time? It's happening at 5 PM Pacific, which is 12 AM here in the UK. It's going to be a long night for me, which I'm gonna dread. But anyways, Apple wouldn't just do this for no random reason, and Mac Rumors has a possible justification. Apparently, Apple wants to emphasize gaming on high-end Macs. That's likely why there's plans to launch a 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro, but we also know that all M3 chips are gonna have hardware ray tracing. This was featured on the A17 Pro, and it would be ridiculous if the bloody iPhone has this, but the Mac doesn't. So I think it's confirmed at this point that we can expect this. And so with the powers of ray tracing and the general performance upgrades with M3 and it being based on 3nm, we can expect Apple to flex more AAA titles built for macOS. Mac Rumors in fact was told by a source that the event will include a major tie-in with a Japanese game developer, and so 5 PM Pacific time in Japan is around 9 AM I believe, which are business hours, and so that could explain why the event's happening a lot later than usual. Now who's this partnership with? Well, we don't know yet, but two names are being thrown around right now, and that's Capcom and Sony. So Capcom actually recently announced that Resident Evil Village will be coming to iPhone 15 Pro and M series iPads on the 30th of October, which is the same day as the Apple event, and so they could be announcing more games optimized for the new Macs. Alternatively, Sony plans to launch PS5 cloud streaming on the 30th in the US, so that could be another possible tie-in opportunity. Now I do want to say Kerman says nothing about this. He believes the later times just because it's Halloween, and Apple wants to freak everyone out by having a late night event. But honestly, I don't see Apple doing that just for that reason alone. There has to be some sort of business reason behind this, and so I'm gonna side with Mac Rumors. However, I won't be against him and the others dressing up in Halloween costumes. That would be pretty nice. But yes, coming back to gaming, I'm very excited about the possibility of gaming on Macs. Now I know people are gonna say in the comments, Macs aren't made for gaming. And yes, that's a market Apple has severely overlooked in the past, but now with the power of Apple Silicon, they undoubtedly should try their best to capture this market. And so by offering hardware ray tracing across the board for all M3 models, that's going to be a massive reason for developers to optimize and make games for Macs, which in turn increases the Mac's market share in the gaming world because it will now have a decent library of games. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.